in the NBA, Rob, let's go to the Dallas Mavericks. And this is disappointing is not the word. You and I both really like Kyrie Irving and his game. His game is spectacular. I think he's the first ballot Hall of Famer. He hit arguably the greatest shot in NBA history. It's certainly one of them.
Well, and also the history of coming back from a 3-1, like
right.
that's the importance of it. Some people would say, "Oh, just a shot." No, that completed a 3-1 comeback in the finals.
The greatest comeback in the NBA Finals history, right?
Plain and simple.
And he hit the game winner from 25 feet.
Yes, you cannot discount that. I'm sorry.
Absolutely. But it's been tough sledding for Kyrie since then, Rob. Obviously, he forced his way out of Cleveland, went to Boston. It started well, but then he got hurt. The year he was hurt, the Celtics with their young players, Tatum and Brown, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, get to the conference finals. Kyrie comes back healthy the next year, and they get beat in the second round. Ultimately, he leaves there, goes to Brooklyn with Kevin Durant. Only plays about 20 games his first year there. We all know the story. They just never even, forget not reaching their potential. They really never gave themselves a chance. Whether it was Kyrie's, anti-vaccination stance or
injuries.
It was injuries.
Right.
They just never even gave themselves. And this year, Rob, again, James Harden left. He should have stayed, I think. We'll see what they do, Philadelphia.
And then they had the 18 out of 21, Chris. They were balling.
I mean, they were looking like, now, a lot of people didn't like them to win the East. You and I did, a few others. But they were certainly, Rob, if Kevin Durant is there and Kyrie Irving is still there, there is no doubt in my mind they're a contender. They probably are the third seed, if not higher.
But it's not impossible to think that they could have been able. Right, exactly.
Not at all. I mean, again, you pick who you want, but to think they were playing some of the best defense in the league too.
Right,
the team
after they made the coaching change and Jacques Vaughn, Chris, it was different. It was a different team. It really was.
But Kyrie, he wanted the bag. They understandably weren't ready to give it to him, which I think all of us get. And Kyrie forced his way out. Now he's in Dallas, and it is bad, Rob. When he got there after the trade deadline, when he played his first game, let's put it that way. When he played his first game, Rob, they were the fourth seed. The fourth seed in the West. They've gone 8-16 since then. And now they're the 11th seed. And Rob, they're out. They still have a chance. They're not mathematically eliminated from the play-in. They're a game behind Oklahoma City with 3 left, but they don't have the tiebreaker, Rob. So they're basically 2 games behind OKC with 3 games left. So we'll see. I mean, you never know, but it's a disappointment to say the least. And Kyrie's playing, like, individually, Rob, he's putting up big numbers. He's doing what he does. And, yesterday had 41 in a loss to Atlanta.
The only problem is, and fair or not, Chris, only one person's going to take the fall for that. And it's going to be Kyrie, that he came and things went sideways. Like, and not based on him playing, his ability to play. No.
Right.
But
that's never been his issue.
No, that's not it. But it didn't go right. Like for him, like it didn't go right because they stopped winning. They stopped winning.
Yeah, they didn't just stay even.
Right.
They went
They've
backwards.
lost 7 of their last 8. I mean, what?
Right.
Chris.
You got 2 All-Stars. Did Luka start an All-Star game? I would think so. But he's obviously a top, 5-6 player in the world. And Kyrie's the starter on the All-Star team, and they're not going to make the play-in.
Which is just mine. But in the NBA, if you have 2 players, you're good to go, and especially 2 of that caliber.
Right.
But they can't stop anybody, Chris. It's bigger. And I'm not saying it's Kyrie, but the optics are Kyrie joined and the team went south. Those are the optics.
he already had the bad reputation, Rob. And you know this. Look, when he and Durant went to Brooklyn, and I think you know this too, Rob, there were many teams, I say most teams, that were in the hunt for Kyrie or were possibilities for him, Rob, that would not have taken Kyrie. I talked to front office people. Teams would not have taken Kyrie. Now, they would have taken him with Kevin Durant.
Right, which is what the Nets did. Right. Anybody who will second guess that, they're crazy. No. I don't care. What NBA executive and owner are you that if Kevin Durant's coming and Kyrie and they're coming together, you wouldn't take them? I don't believe anybody would say that.
Absolutely right. I agree with you. The optics it feels like a confirmation. I just pointed out a lot of the things that have gone wrong with Kyrie in his, in terms of his career and winning or losing.
But am I right about the optics or no? I'm just saying.
No, you're totally right.
Even though I'm just saying the defense is terrible, Chris, horrendous, and I'm not. You just said he scored 41 and they lost. Okay, so it's not like he's shooting 2 for 22 or something.
51% there, averaging 27 points a game.
He's playing great, but they're not winning.
Because it's a team game. And let me just say this, because you are absolutely right, Rob. The optics, most people are going to put it on Kyrie, and certainly he got to own a lot of it. You can't overlook, Rob, the coincidence. I'm sorry. It's not a coincidence, but my point is you can't overlook the fact that it didn't go well with him in Boston. It didn't go well with him in Brooklyn. And now you get trade. We talked about teams not wanting him by himself. There's some, because obviously there were other teams willing to trade for him, but a lot of teams didn't want to bring him into their culture and their program. And now this, so he has to own a lot of it. But I want to point out a few of the other, and I guess the question that we're going to throw out to the listeners, Rob, is who do they put the blame on? I think Jason Kidd has to take a lot of blame.
Because you remember, everybody was like, oh, Jason Kidd will straighten out Kyrie. Yep. And it's not, again, Kyrie has played well, but he ain't straightened out the defense, Jason Kidd.
And that's on the coaching staff. Rob, we talk about it. I've said Brooklyn was a horrific defensive team under Steve Nash. Jacques Vaughn comes in there, and all of a sudden they're one of the best defensive teams in the league. The coaches got to emphasize it. Emphasize it day after day after day, because as long as you have the strength and the athleticism to defend, which most NBA, players or teams certainly have some people like that, then you can be an adequate defensive team. So that's on the coaching staff. Rob, I think the strategy is that they haven't changed anything. It's just like we got Luka doing what he does. Now we'll throw Kyrie, and we got two guys doing what Luka does. It has to be. Now, offensively, they've been scoring, so maybe you would say, well, offensively, they're fine. But the bottom line is it's not smooth. It's not working. And ultimately, Rob, I also think Luka Doncic. And this is my thesis on it. You know how much I like Luka. I called him Luka Legend, all that stuff. Rob, when a player first enters the league, you know how it is. They first want to establish themselves as a superstar if they're that caliber of player. And we allow that generally. The media, the public, because you're young, you don't expect them to win. But they just establish, he can ball. He's nice. And then they get the super max contract. He's one of the best players in the league. And then after a few more years, it's like, okay, can he win? Is he going to win anything?
Right.
You might not win a championship, but is he getting close? Is he look like he can win a championship? And Rob, particularly the upper echelon players, of which Luka is. So Rob, this is what I say about this. Luka Doncic now, because of this situation where he has shown zero leadership, he has not held, himself and his teammates accountable. He doesn't give even real effort defensively. We get it. He's not going to be a great defender. He's not the quickest and speediest guy in the world. Okay. But Rob, Steph and Steve Nash, they weren't great defenders, not great defenders, but they're smart defenders. They know they're in the right place. They try. They take charges. You can do that. Luka doesn't even do that. And that's the thing. As the leader of the team, when you don't put forth the effort defensively, you can't hold anybody accountable.
Nobody's going to follow you, Chris. Nobody. And that is leading by example. If guys see you diving for loose balls and and using muscle and whatever it takes, that's what people go like, dude, if he's doing that, he's the star making $1 gazillion. How am I not going to do it?
Yep. And so, Rob, I think now going forward, until he wins the championship, if he does, now there are going to be questions about Luka. Yeah, he's great. He'll be all NBA. He'll make every all-star team. He may even win an MVP at some point. He's good enough to. But there will be questions. Does he have the intangibles? Can he lead? Is he a leader? Can he hold you accountable? Will he at least try defensively? Does he have the heart? All of that, Rob. That, to me, that's going forward. That's going to be what people ask about Luka Doncic until he wins a ring.
No doubt.
Because this wasn't just not winning a championship. This was freaking missing the play-in.
This is falling off the face of the earth. Like no one could have imagined. Like you said, I remember people, and I remember some Dallas people and people who were all thought that, oh my God, look at what they did. This is unbelievable. Who cares about the picks and all that other stuff?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you got to try to acquire a player of Kyrie's caliber. You jump on it. You don't even think about it. And now what?
Yeah.
You give him a contract?
Well, Chris Haynes reported today, Rob, that they want to re-sign him, but he's going to test free agency. Now, if I'm Dallas, I might bring him. If I'm offering him something, it's 1 year.
He ain't going to take that.
A team option for the second year at best. Because I would say this if I'm the Mavericks, Rob. Look, offensively, they've been fine for the most part. Him and Luka. The thing is, I don't know, Luka. They seem to get along, right? You see him on the bench. They seem to be fine. But Rob, I don't know if Luka likes playing with Kyrie, just because Luka's never been in a situation where he's got another guy like himself. You know what I mean? Like, it can be hard to play with a guy that also, when you're ball dominant, that's also ball dominant. And probably first time in Luka's life, Rob, he's played with somebody as talented and as skilled as him, if not more so. Not better or as good as Luka,
right?
But he's certainly as talented and skillful. So that can be tough if you're used to being the show and the only show at that.